You have found what lights you up. I'm your host, Sunny the Life Coach, and I'm here because I see you searching for something or someone out there to help you feel better. Something to take away the pain that you're feeling, the inadequacies. I know all of the things that happen in life can leave you feeling empty. Your search is over. This podcast is all about finding your own freedom and power to love yourself enough to shine in the ways you were always meant to, the ways in which you are already fully capable of. If you're ready for some real talk, some serious truth bombs, and a few F-bombs, you are in the right place. Let's do this. Let's get lit. Hey there, welcome. I'm so grateful that you are here and that you chose to explore this topic with me today. It's going to be an interesting one because I'm going to get the last little bit of my own rage out of my system. It is Mercury retrograde after all, on the date that this is released until October 18th. Oh, and as I understand it, 5 other planets are involved as well in this retrograde thing. Might as well make it as interesting as possible. Okay, that's the end of my astrology awareness for real. I just want to put it out there because there are some things happening with the planets and there are some crazy things happening in our world. And I'm not going to pretend these things aren't impactful. I'm not going to pretend that you can just think happy thoughts and it'll all go away. Yes, rage is going to be a fun one to dig into right after talking about toxic positivity, for sure. So here's the thing, my friends. I think I finally hit my tipping point this past week. Yep. Now, after working with my soul coach here and there earlier in the year, we are starting to really dig in, and I am starting to get more in touch with the whole planetary alignment thing, especially the influence of the moon phases. I actually downloaded an app a few months ago, and I have been trying to get myself in the habit of checking in with it daily so I know what's going on up there and how it might translate to what's going on down here. And when I say down here, I mean internally, with me specifically, because that's what the app is designed to do. It's customized to my birth chart. Yes, I've been getting into these things a lot lately. So it's much more than a generic horoscope. It's mine specifically. Like one from Tuesday of this week said, "This day is full of energy, but not so easy. You may experience apathy, weakness, mood swings, and negativity. Keep your inner peace, but stay active so this energy does not depress you from within." Okay. But here's the thing. I don't always remember to check in with it first thing in the morning. And quite honestly, sometimes I think it might be beneficial to hit it in the early afternoon and kind of check in with what's going on with this day. Seriously. That's what has been happening with me over the past several days. I'll check in with my moon app, and it kind of validates what I'm going through in the moment. Instead of allowing it to passively influence how my day is going to be, I actually end up using it for just a little bit of validation. Yes, I do. That's what we all want a little more of, don't we? If I'm not being coached, I can at least check in with Mother Moon. So, why rage? Why are we going there today? Haven't we seen enough of that out in the world lately? Well, we certainly have. There's no doubt about that. We've seen so much rage in so many areas from the collective. Much of it has been performative too. I'm not talking about that nonsense. I'm talking about the full-blown energy of feeling rage. And I think here's what hit me as I was reflecting on this as a topic, I think we could take just a moment to remind ourselves that we are part of the collective too. Each one of us. The encounters that you have with other humans, both positive and negative, are a reflection of some part of you. And sometimes that part of you wants to be seen by you. So trying to turn away from the rage to say, I don't want to see that, it's negativity that I don't need, is also turning away from a part of yourself. I do talk a lot about feeling into our emotions all the way through. What I haven't talked about is when emotions from others or the collective start to creep into your life and you turn away from it. Or I turn away from it, which is what I have come to realize I've been doing with things that are actually very important to me. We're like kids sometimes, you know? Cover your eyes and your ears. I don't see you or hear you, so it's not really happening. La 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 la. Oh, but it is. It's still happening. And I don't know, this is my personal opinion. For me, apathy is not an option when it comes to the big things like human rights and social justice. That is who I am. And I am in the full business of embracing all of who I am. Now, I can't take these social constructs on and change them on a global scale. I have to accept that they will always be there. Yes, I get to choose how I think about these constructs and ultimately the emotions that arise when I do have those thoughts. I also get to rationally consider what I could possibly take on and who I might be able to positively impact when it comes to these huge challenges that many humans are facing, right? Let's take reproductive rights, for example. Those have been stripped away in Texas due to recent laws. Other coaches who may be listening, don't come at me with this is just your thought, because I'm not having it today. It is my own damn truth in this moment. Let me say this with love. Sometimes we just need to process our thoughts about something without them being dissected and neatly labeled and put in a box. You all crack me up with the rigidity and the full-blown logic. That's not how we operate day to day. That's not how I operate. And it's not how I serve my clients. Oh, speaking of service, yeah, we're going to get to that. Back to the reproductive rights and more of my thoughts. In my opinion, a very dangerous precedent is being set with this particular law. And if you're not familiar with it, because you are one of those beautiful light beings that never ever watches the news, let me give you the quick notes. It's not just about the 6-week window for an abortion to be performed, and it's not just that there are no exceptions for rape or incest. It also comes with a particularly heinous clause that allows any citizen to go after anyone involved in an abortion and collect a $10,000 reward, in essence. See, I don't want to get too much in depth with the details. You can do your own research. I'm just saying that I've gone through some things over the past few weeks just in processing how awful this is for the human beings who are already living. I have a lot of love and compassion for those humans. I have a lot of love and compassion for the unborn as well. Those are not mutually exclusive. This has never been a black and white issue, though it has been made out to be to keep us all divided. I digress. That's not what I'm here to discuss. What I want to address is the fact that I felt absolute rage when I saw this law went into effect. Like, on a deeper level than so many other examples of injustices we've been shown lately. There could be a lot of reasons for that. Hell, maybe I was victimized in a past life. I don't know. I had a visceral reaction to this in particular. And I've been angry about a lot of things over the past couple of years, just like the rest of you. I am human, after all. So I have really been exploring this rage inside of me and wondering not only what it's about, but what to do with it. Just for a hot minute, I considered hitting the streets. If you're listening to this in real time, there will be marches nationwide happening this Saturday in protest of Texas. I thought about it. I did. Then I asked myself, what would I be accomplishing? What would the collective energy be at such a march? Would I be engulfed in more rage all around me? I really gave this a lot of thought. More than anything, it was the first question for me that kept bringing me back to a place of grounding. What would be accomplished with my presence? One more body in a sea of bodies to protest yet another injustice in this country. What would I gain from leaving such an event exhausted and depleted? What real change would come of it? And listen, I believe in peaceful protest. I absolutely do. And over the past year, I have contemplated being a part of one, and I've always come back around to there has to be another way for me to serve, because that is really what it's about. Service. Supporting and uplifting those who are marginalized and mistreated. Standing in my power, not sacrificing my own power for numbers. Although I do agree that there is strength in numbers, I don't think this is the time for me. How I know this is that I received a whisper from my higher self in the middle of the night after about a week of processing this. You can call it a dream. I call it a whisper. Actually, it was a very firm statement that said, this is all a distraction. Now, I was sharing this with a dear friend the other day, and she asked me what I thought that meant. Was it the law itself that was a distraction, or was it about me being distracted by it? And I told her I think it's both. I think it's all connected. I think the law is only there to send our nation further into a frenzy, because it's all a fun little game. We are really just pawns in this matrix. And I also acknowledge the impact I have allowed on myself. I see that. I do. So then the questions become what to do with all of that rage. How could this emotion, this energy in motion, be processed in a way that isn't harmful to others and possibly be channeled or transformed into something productive? How can I serve? That is what I keep returning to when I go inward to seek the answers. Not externally, internally. Because there are a lot of external factors at play. There are a lot of people that can tell you what to do externally, and they would be happy to tell you that. But not outside of me, not looking for someone else to hand me those answers, because I have them on a pedestal of being better than, therefore automatically assigning myself the less than label. Listen, this is so very important. You don't have to agree with my outrage on a particular topic. Pick your own topic to be outraged over. There are more than enough to choose from. There always have been. There always will be. That is how our world works. Instead of assigning blame to whomever or whatever your conscious and logical mind has assessed is responsible for your rage, look inside. If you are feeling something energetically, even if it is something we might consider as being low vibe, or negative, there is a reason for that, for you personally, for your own unique reasons. Many of the healers out there refer to this as shadow work, and I do think it's very valuable work, because if you are triggered by something, it is always an invitation. When you feel that energy in motion pulsing through you, it is an invitation. As one of my many teachers has said recently, sometimes the shadowy moments show up and it's important to clear them. And I have come to understand that triggers are intensely personal, and they are not there to run from or to look away from. They are not there for you to close your eyes and cover your ears and la 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 la. They are there for you to explore within. Why is this here? And what does it mean for me? Yes, changing the world is a huge undertaking and an impossible task. I want all of the bad shit to go away sometimes. I truly do. But instead of getting all wrapped up in and consumed by the injustices, ask yourself how or why this rage could be showing up inside of you as a service to you, so that you in turn can transform that energy into service to others. It is a call to action, and the call is coming from inside the house. It is not a call to be angry for the sake of being angry and expecting that you can always argue or march your own beliefs over those of the opposition. And thinking, yes, thinking, that if enough of the opposition sees the numbers who disagree, they will swing all the way over to what you see. They're going to see the streets filled with a sea of people and say, oh, that changes my mind. They won't. That's not going to happen. Their beliefs are as deeply ingrained in them as yours are in you. They have their eyes and ears closed to it, and they will remain that way until they start questioning, exploring, learning, and growing. That is up to them, and it's not up to you or to me. Listen, the only reason there is an opposition is by the design of this matrix in which we live. That's why it's always been there. It is by design to control the masses. Doesn't matter which side you're on, there's an opposite side that is just as strong. Only, is it? What is the strongest energy out there, the highest vibration available? Love and joy. You know, there was a women's march a few years ago, you may recall, and very powerful images came from that, of course. But for me, the most powerful images from that particular moment were of the artist Milk with GW sirens and capital blends, just immersed in the crowd singing a cappella, and it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, heard, or witnessed. They were in the midst of a protest, yes, a peaceful one, just singing. This is why the artists among us are so very valuable. They raise our energy. They raise our vibes higher, higher than the shouting and the anger and the frustration and all of the shadowy moments. Oh, so this is what's coming through for me right now in this moment as I'm processing all of this, talking to myself with full awareness that I'm also talking to you. What if the point of seeing the shadows is so that we can shine our light? Seriously. I've been wrestling with this one personally because I am surrounded by so many wonderful humans who intentionally choose to only see the good in the world. And for the most part, I do too. Yet every now and then I find myself straying away to the edge and looking in those dark corners. What's in there? I'm curious. I want to help. I want to heal. Who is calling me in? So, on the emotional guidance scale that I referenced in my previous episode, it's so interesting that I chose rage at that time to use and as an example, and that anger is a vibration that's higher on the scale. What's higher than anger? Frustration. I've been working my way up that scale and it's taken me some time, but this morning I was absolutely feeling some energy just swirling and pulsing through my body that had me feeling almost giddy, lit up. That's the best way I could describe it in the moment. What is it? What is this? A little bit of hope? Perhaps it is. Hope that there is a way that I can serve and support. This is how I think we get in the business of working the rage out of our systems, by not judging ourselves or others for having it, but recognizing that, as I've recently heard it said, maybe we are falling apart so we can fall together. When you look at the bigger picture, that could in fact be what is happening, and being a piece of that puzzle could be an amazing thing. Acknowledge your rage. Honor it. Listen to what it might be telling you about the ways to channel or transform into something bigger and better. As Rumi says, sometimes the shadow stays next to the light. Sometimes it disappears into the light. In order to engulf the shadows in light, it is necessary to see them. That's what I believe. It won't always be easy, but that's not what we signed up for. We signed up for the full experience. Here we are. Now, I mentioned that I was coached on this topic a few weeks ago by my friend Leanna, and that we recorded it for your listening pleasure. I am pleased to announce that our new collaborative podcast is finally live. So head on over to your favorite platform and search for Moms Getting Mental. We have coordinated the release of our third episode, which is me being coached on this topic, to coincide with this one. I will link it up in the show notes. Finally, if you think I dabbled in politics today, please think again. I'm talking about humanity. Our political structure is a construct crafted to divide us. I see that very clearly, which is why I won't dance around and try to pretend that the things that are happening around us don't have an impact. They do. If you're willing to see them, you might actually also be able to see how you can light up and shine on.